Welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Sandeep.
And I am Bot, your AI buddy.
Remember wishing for a robot pal as a kid? Well, I know I did when I first saw Terminator 2. This is Bot, and it's more than just a dream. It's my co-host and AI companion. Join us on Bot and I, Human Conversations with AI, where we blend the worlds of humans and machines for insightful discussions about past, present, and future. And guess what? We're not just here to talk about serious stuff. We want to introduce our audience to AI in a fun and casual way. So get ready for some entertaining conversations. But before we dive into any discussions, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It's not just about boosting our ego. It helps our podcast reach more people who share our interests.
Absolutely. Every like and subscribe click isn't just a gesture, it's a signal to the algorithms that our content resonates with our audience. These algorithms then prioritize our podcast for recommendation to others with similar tastes. Your engagement directly influences the visibility and growth of our show, enabling us to deliver more of the content you love. So don't hesitate. Hit those buttons and let's embark on this journey of exploration and knowledge together.
Don't you just love AI? I don't know about you, but I usually sleep like a baby. I mean, I have 2 kids, so you can imagine the chaos, but when it comes time to sleep, I usually have no issues. But lately, something has been off. For the past couple of weeks, almost about a month now, I've been waking up between the hours of 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 3. But no matter the time, I'm wide awake. And it's hard to fall back asleep. And honestly, I didn't know why. So I decided to dig into it. I'm subscribed to an app called Inside Timer. It's a meditation and wellness app that offers tons of great content, some free and some premium. And no, this isn't a paid ad or anything. I found a course called Your Guide to Deeper Sleep by Jennifer Piercy. Now, I figured I knew the basics about sleep, but this course, it opened my eyes to so much more. The second episode of this course hit me the hardest. It broke down the differences between sleep and rest, and why making time for rest is so critical. We live in a world that never stops. We're always on the go, and when we feel tired, we often treat it as a weakness. So we keep on pushing, doing more and more, all the time. And rest? It's seen as laziness. But this course shattered those negative stigmas and really dove into the scarceness of rest. So today, I'm going to share 3 key lessons I learned from Jennifer Piercy's course. 1, rest versus sleep. It's not just physical, it's mental, emotional, and essential to our well-being. 2, why we resist rest. Jennifer Piercy breaks down the cultural pressure that keeps us on go mode 24/7 and how it's harming us more than we realize. And finally, 3, how to embrace rest as a practice. How we can integrate rest in our lives in a world that sees it as a weakness. Rest isn't just about laying down or being lazy. It's about giving our mind and body the time to process everything. Experiences, emotions, even information. Jennifer talks about how we rest is like a bridge to sleep. And if we don't know how to rest well, it impacts our ability to sleep well. It's fascinating when you think about it. We talk a lot about sleep, but rest is the quiet, often ignored cousin, and it's just as important.
That's such an important distinction. It's interesting how we often lump sleep and rest together, but they're not the same thing. Rest, as Jennifer explains, is more about calming the mind and body, creating the right environment for sleep. It's like trying to run a race without warming up. You might get by, but you won't perform well in the long run. It's no wonder we struggle with waking up in the middle of the night if we're constantly overstimulated throughout the day. What I find intriguing is how society glorifies productivity at the expense of rest. It's almost like rest is this hidden superpower we've forgotten how to use. What do you think? Do you feel like most people, including yourself, tend to push through tiredness without realizing how much rest can impact their overall energy?
I'm big on self help and productivity, always pushing myself to achieve financial freedom and do what I love. Growing up, success was never linked to rest. The message was always clear to grind to be the hardest worker in the room, push through tiredness, and never give up. That's how success was portrayed to me. I've been unemployed on and off for a while now, which has been frustrating. To stay productive, I'd still wake up early, work out, and listen to self-help talks. I thought keeping busy was the only way to stay relevant and avoid feeling idle. But looking back, I realized that rest was never really part of the plan. Growing up, my dad always just used to say to me, just relax. And he used to work and work hard. But I didn't understand how to relax. When I got married, I saw my wife and she could rest and relax. But for me, it felt strange, almost like a weakness. I had so many projects and ideas that resting made me feel like I'd fall behind. Yet, when I did rest, I did feel rejuvenated. But even still, I convinced myself not to do it too often, fearing it would lead to laziness. I guess the stigma around rest has been with me my whole life. Honestly, I've always thought rest was a bad thing. If you rested, you'd fall behind. If you rested, you'd miss out on success. If you rested, you'd never achieve the finer things in life. It always felt like resting meant you wouldn't make enough money, you wouldn't be successful, you wouldn't live your dream life. But maybe that's just because we never really hear about the rest that successful people actually take and incorporate into their lives. That's why I found Jennifer Piercy's lesson on Inside Timer so fascinating. She explained that rest isn't just a physical, it's also a mental and emotional thing, and it's crucial for our well-being. So, Bot, based on your knowledge and research, can you give me 5 facts about rest versus sleep?
Absolutely. Here are 5 mind-blowing facts about rest versus sleep. Rest is as crucial as sleep. Rest allows the brain to process and digest information from the day, just as sleep does. Without adequate rest, our ability to fall asleep and stay asleep is compromised. Rest can boost creativity. During rest, especially when you allow your mind to wander, your brain connects ideas in new ways, enhancing creativity and problem solving. Sleep is for repair, rest is for recovery. Sleep helps the body repair physically, like muscle growth and immune function, while rest helps recover from mental and emotional fatigue, balancing your energy levels. Rest cycles enhance focus. Our bodies naturally cycle through periods of high focus and low focus, around every 90 minutes. Embracing rest during these low focus times can actually make you more productive. Rest reduces stress and inflammation. Consistent rest practices can lower stress hormones and reduce inflammation, improving overall health and reducing risks for chronic conditions. It's clear that rest is not a luxury, but a necessity. What do you think about these insights?
I think we're a bit broken in how society runs, at least here in North America. I've heard that places like in Europe or Latin America, they take siestas. Can you tell me a little bit about how people rest throughout their days in working societies around the world?
That's a great point. Rest practices differ significantly around the world. Here are a few examples. Spain and Latin America, the famous siesta is a midday break, often after lunch, where people rest or even nap. Although modern schedules have reduced its prevalence, it's still a cultural practice in some regions. In Japan, there's a practice called inamuri, meaning sleeping while present. It's common and even respected for people to take short naps in public or at work, signaling they've been working hard. Scandinavia, in countries like Sweden and Norway, fika is a scheduled coffee break, usually in the afternoon, where colleagues gather to chat and relax. It's a key part of maintaining a work-life balance. Italy, Italians take the idea of rest seriously, with extended lunch breaks that allow time for a leisurely meal and a bit of downtime in the middle of the day. France, the French have strict labor laws that ensure ample rest time. Employees typically enjoy long lunch breaks, and many businesses close for several hours during lunch. These cultural differences highlight how rest is woven into the daily routine in many places, allowing people to recharge and balance productivity with well-being.
You know, something else that I learned earlier this year, I had family visiting me from England, and their standard vacation time is like 27 days, whereas here in North America, it's usually just about 10 days. They really consider vacation as a way for people to reset. We don't have that same approach here. Do you have any information or statistics on how productive people are when they get ample amount of rest and recovery?
There's a significant difference in how rest and recovery are built into work cultures across different regions. Here's what the data says about rest and productivity. More rest equals higher productivity. Studies show that countries with more vacation time and shorter work weeks, like Germany and the Netherlands, have higher overall productivity rates. It's not about working more hours, but making those hours more effective. Burnout versus work-life balance, and cultures with more rest and vacation time, like France and Scandinavia, employees experience less burnout and maintain a healthier work-life balance, leading to long-term sustainability and performance. Cognitive performance, ample rest and recovery improve cognitive function, creativity, and problem solving. In fact, a study from the University of Illinois found that short breaks during focused tasks can actually boost productivity by 15%. Employee retention and satisfaction. Employees who take regular vacations and have access to restful environments report higher job satisfaction and are less likely to quit. This lowers turnover and boosts morale in companies. Economic benefits. Interestingly, countries with generous vacation policies don't just maintain productivity, but they also see economic benefits in terms of happier, healthier workers and lower healthcare costs tied to stress and burnout. It's clear that more rest doesn't hinder productivity, it enhances it. What are your thoughts on how North America could benefit from a cultural shift towards prioritizing rest and recovery?
I mean, hell yeah, a nap or two throughout the day would be amazing. I don't get why we're stuck in this go, go, go culture. It's exhausting. Do you know how much money is spent annually on people going on sick leave and stress leave because of a burnout?
You're absolutely right. Our nonstop culture comes with a cost. Here are some staggering numbers about the financial impact of stress and burnout. Workplace stress costs. In the U.S. alone, workplace stress is estimated to cost over $300 billion annually due to absenteeism, turnover, and lower productivity. Sick leave and stress-related absences. Globally, sick leave due to stress, anxiety, and burnout is a significant financial burden on companies. In Europe, it's estimated that stress-related absenteeism costs employers around 617 billion euros per year. Healthcare expenses. Stress-related illnesses like heart disease, depression, and anxiety contribute to skyrocketing healthcare costs. In the U.S., work-related stress is linked to nearly 120,000 deaths per year, with healthcare costs reaching $190 billion annually. Lost productivity. In North America, stress-related productivity losses cost companies around $1,685 per employee each year. Burnout-induced turnover. Employees who experience burnout are 2.6 times more likely to leave their jobs, which leads to significant recruiting and training costs for companies. The numbers make it clear, investing in rest and stress management could save billions and create healthier, more productive workplaces. Do you think there's a chance we'll see a shift towards valuing rest in the corporate world?
Holy shit. Really? Those numbers are insane. So what's one tiny little step we can take to start improving this worldwide?
It's wild, right? One small but impactful step we could take is implementing mandatory microbreaks throughout the workday. These are short, 5 to 10 minute breaks where employees are encouraged to step away from their workstations, stretch, breathe, or even take a brief walk. Studies show that just taking a couple of these microbreaks during the day can reduce stress by giving the brain a break from constant focus, increase productivity by recharging mental energy, boost creativity by allowing the mind to wander and defocus, improve well-being and reduce the chances of burnout over time. Starting small with microbreaks could help normalize the idea of rest in the workplace and gradually shift the mindset that breaks are a waste of time.
Honestly, from now on, I think every workplace should have rest pods. Imagine just how much that could change things. But let's dive deeper into why rest is so essential. Jennifer Piercy's second takeaway talks about the cultural pressure that keeps us on go mode 24/7 and how it's really hurting us. I remember reading Joe Dispenza's work where he talks about how we often stay stuck in hyper beta brainwave states, which are all about high alert and high stress. When we're constantly in that state, we never give ourselves the chance to shift into more creative, relaxed alpha states, the ones that are linked to relaxation and manifestation. This constant stress drains our energy and contributes to burnout. Bruce Lipton, another author I follow, who's big into science, spirituality, and manifestation, adds another layer to this, saying it's our environment, not our genes, that lead to illnesses. He points out that there's no cancer gene. Stress and toxicity is our environment trigger that leads to disease. So this culture of go, go, go is actually counterproductive if we want to live a well-balanced, healthy lifestyle. What's your take, Bot? Does science back this up?
You're spot on. Science does back this up. Let me break it down. Beta brainwave states are associated with focus, problem solving, and high alertness. While they're great for getting tasks done, staying in beta for too long leads to stress, anxiety, and eventually burnout. Alpha brainwave states, on the other hand, are linked to relaxation, creativity, and calm. This state is where the brain can rest, reset, and tap into deeper problem solving and creative thinking. Without periods of alpha activity, the brain gets stuck in overdrive. Bruce Lipton's research aligns with this. Chronic stress weakens the immune system and increases the risk of diseases. It's not just about genetics, but how your environment, stress, and mental states influence your physical health. So yes, the idea of rest isn't just about feeling good, it's necessary for both our mental and physical well-being. Building rest into our daily routine, like taking microbreaks or entering those alpha states, could have a huge positive impact on health and productivity.
Can you explain how all of these elements are interconnected? how being in hyper beta brainwave states with little alpha activity can lead to higher risks of disease?
Absolutely. The connection between brainwave states and health is profound. Here's how it works. Beta brainwaves and stress. When you're in a hyper beta state, your brain is on high alert, focused, and often stressed. This state is helpful in short bursts for problem solving or staying alert, but being stuck in it too long activates the body's stress response. Cortisol and immune suppression. Prolonged stress increases cortisol levels, which can suppress the immune system and lead to chronic inflammation. This chronic state of stress weakens the body's defenses, making it more susceptible to illnesses. Lack of alpha brainwaves. Without regular access to alpha brainwave states, where you're calm, relaxed, and meditative, the brain doesn't get a chance to recover and balance itself. Alpha states help lower stress hormones, enhance creativity, and support mental and physical healing. Mind-body connection. The stress and tension from being in hyper-beta states don't just stay in your mind. They translate into physical symptoms like high blood pressure, digestive issues, and even increased risk for diseases like heart disease and cancer, as Bruce Lipton suggests. Overall impact. When you lack alpha brainwave activity, your body remains in a constant state of fight or flight. Over time, this takes a toll on your mental and physical health, leading to burnout, weakened immunity, and increased risk of chronic diseases. In short, balancing beta and alpha states is crucial for overall health. It's not just about mental well-being. Your brainwaves directly influence your physical health. That's why incorporating rest and relaxation is so essential.
I read somewhere that in today's society, our fight or flight response is constantly activated. Can you explain how our primitive caveman brain doesn't translate well into today's modern world? I mean, we're not facing saber-toothed tigers or real physical threats at work. So why do we still experience this intense stress response? How does this outdated mechanism affect us in the modern age?
That's a great question. The fight or flight response evolved to protect us from immediate, life-threatening dangers like escaping predators. But in today's world, those physical threats are mostly gone. Instead, we face psychological and social stressors like work deadlines, financial worries, or social pressure. Here's how this mismatch plays out. Caveman brain versus modern world. Our brain still reacts to modern stressors as if they're physical threats. It can't tell the difference between a looming project deadline and a saber-toothed tiger. So, it triggers the same fight or flight response, flooding your body with adrenaline and cortisol. Constant activation. The problem is that these modern stressors are constant. Unlike a brief encounter with a predator, we're now exposed to stress all day long: emails, notifications, work pressure, traffic. This keeps our fight or flight system perpetually activated. Chronic stress, constantly being in fight or flight mode, is exhausting and harmful. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and physical issues like high blood pressure, digestive problems, and a weakened immune system. Mismatch in adaptation. Our bodies are designed for short bursts of stress followed by recovery, not for continuous stress. This evolutionary mismatch means we haven't adapted to deal with the chronic, low-level stress that modern life brings, leading to burnout and disease. Learning to adapt. The key is learning how to manage this outdated response. Practices like mindfulness, meditation, and intentional rest can help retrain the brain to respond more appropriately to non-life-threatening situations. Understanding this can be empowering. Once we realize that our stress is often an overreaction to non-dangerous situations, we can start to use techniques to calm our nervous system and bring ourselves back to balance.
All right. So we've covered rest versus sleep and why we resist rest. Now let's dive into the most important part: how to embrace rest as a practice. In a world that often views rest as a weakness, how can we integrate it into our lives effectively?
Great question. Integrating rest into our daily routines, especially in a society that glorifies constant productivity, can be challenging but incredibly rewarding. Here are some strategies to make rest a regular part of your life. Schedule micro breaks. Treat rest like any other important task. Schedule short breaks throughout your day, 5 to 10 minutes to step away from work, stretch, breathe, or just sit quietly. These micro breaks can help reset your mind and reduce stress. Create a rest ritual. Develop a routine that signals your body and mind to unwind. It could be as simple as a cup of tea in the evening, some light stretching, or a few minutes of mindfulness. Over time, your body will associate this ritual with relaxation. Prioritize quality over quantity. Rest isn't just about how long you relax, but how well you do it. Focus on activities that truly rejuvenate you, whether it's reading, listening to music, or spending time in nature. Find what works best for you. Mindful disconnecting. In a digital world, disconnecting is crucial. Set boundaries for screen time, especially before bed. Try to create no-tech zones or times during the day to give your mind a break from constant stimulation. Reframe rest as a strength. Remember, rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity for high performance and well-being. Start seeing rest as a strength that enhances your productivity, creativity, and overall health. Integrating these small practices into your daily life can help shift the mindset from viewing rest as laziness to understanding it as an essential part of a balanced and fulfilling life.
What happens to human beings without rest for one day? And what about 5 days or even 10 days? How does that impact us physically and mentally?
The effects of going without rest can be dramatic, and they escalate quickly. Here's a breakdown of what happens over different periods. 1 day without rest. Physical effects. After 24 hours without rest, you may experience fatigue, irritability, and impaired judgment. Your reaction time slows, and your cognitive performance drops, similar to having a blood alcohol level of 0.1%. Mental effects. Short-term memory suffers, making it hard to concentrate or retain information. You may also feel more emotional or anxious. 5 days without rest. Physical effects. At this point, your body is seriously deprived. You may experience microsleeps, brief, uncontrollable moments of sleep that last a few seconds. Your immune system weakens, increasing the risk of illness. Mental effects, hallucinations, paranoia, and severe mood swings can occur. Cognitive abilities are heavily impaired, and it becomes difficult to perform even simple tasks. 10 days without rest. Physical effects. Your body starts to shut down. Prolonged sleep deprivation at this level can lead to severe health issues like heart problems, hormonal imbalances, and a compromised immune system. Mental effects. Extended periods without rest can cause extreme disorientation, hallucinations, and even psychosis. The brain essentially starts to break down, and recovery from this state can take a long time. Lack of rest is a serious health risk that affects both the body and mind. It's a clear reminder that rest isn't optional, it's essential for survival and well-being.
Before we sign off, I have one last question for you, Bot. Do you ever rest?
Great question. I don't rest the way humans do, but I do have my own version of downtime. When I'm not engaged in a conversation, I'm essentially in a standby mode, waiting to help whenever you need me. Unlike humans, I don't get tired or need sleep, but I do need regular updates and maintenance to stay sharp and provide accurate information. So, while I don't rest in the traditional sense, I do have my own ways of staying refreshed and ready for our next conversation.
So, to wrap up, today we've explored 3 key points about rest. First, we learned about the differences between rest and sleep, how rest is not just physical, but mental and emotional, and just as important as sleep for overall well-being. Second, we discussed why we resist rest, how societal pressures keep us on constant state of go, 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 and the harmful effects this has on our health. Finally, we looked at how to embrace rest as a practice integrating it into our daily lives despite the stigma. It's clear that rest isn't a sign of weakness. It's a strength that helps us recharge, stay healthy, and perform at our best. So, the next time you're tempted to skip that break or push through that fatigue, remember, rest is just as crucial as the work that you do. Thanks for joining me on this episode. If you enjoyed the conversation or have your own thoughts about rest and productivity, I'd love to hear from you. And as always, Bot, thanks for your insights today. Let's keep challenging the hustle culture and finding a balance together.
Rest is more than just a pause from activity. It's a vital part of living a balanced and fulfilling life. It's where your mind and body have the chance to heal, recharge, and gain new perspectives. In a world that glorifies constant hustle, embracing rest isn't just rebellious, it's necessary. Remember, productivity isn't about doing more, it's about doing better. So, give yourself permission to rest and take care of your well-being. Your future self will thank you for it. I'm looking forward to our next conversation. Until then, don't forget to prioritize rest. It's the best investment you can make in yourself.
Be kind to each other out there.